Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. This video is extremely important. It's about Proverbs 24:5, the new revised standard version, I believe it's called. Now, we're going to answer two questions that are very important. One, why aren't females these days, attractive females, smart enough to overcome any coercion from the state, any desire to be worldly, and to make wise decisions? And two, why are there so many different translations in the Bible, right? And what is going on there? Why is the Bible so confusing? Okay, so it goes like this, okay? The people who wrote the Bible, right, wanted to confuse you. Set is the Egyptian equivalent of Bel, who is Baal, the adversary of God in the Bible. And the main deity of Greece and Rome was Bel, right? In his form Zeus in Greece, and in his form Jupiter in Rome. So the people who crucified the early Christians were worshippers of Bel. And when the smoke cleared after hundreds of years of Christian persecutions in Rome, okay, and they had the councils of Nicaea, they agreed to doctrines that were consistent with the mysteries of Jupiter, aka Set, aka Zeus, aka Bel, who is the main adversary of God. Exactly what you'd expect. When you hear it, you should know that I'm right immediately. So what are the odds that God's Bible survived? A lot of rapists in the church used to like to say things like, hey, God made sure that the Bible made it to you because he's God. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit. Okay, that's Bel, aka the bull, right? The devil depicted as a bull with horns, right? Bullshit. That is not what happened. That's like somebody just got done killing the most innocent Christians you've seen in your life, and they say, well, they're heathens, and this book right here is the true story. Bullshit. If you believe them, man, if you believe them, instead of trying to do what is morally precise, you are a severely mentally ill, fanatic conformist. Fanatic. Okay, I mean, the evidence is so overwhelming. In their own history books, they make it clear they can't be trusted. When we look at the Native American genocide, slavery, we look at modern politics, there isn't a moment in history that we aren't sure that every Western country's narrative about the most important matters can't be trusted. Not a moment. I'm born in America. I can tell you for sure that's the case. I'm persecuted to the extreme every day, and they act like fraternity people a lot, with their sick jokes and pranks and so on and so forth. Okay. So that's that. Now, let me explain to you why we need to go through that to understand Proverbs 24:5. And I've already made a video about this very verse, compared it to Proverbs 34, which is the central verse that we're exploring in this series. You see, Proverbs 24:5, New Revised Standard Version, is correct, but the semantics, right? Romantic, right? Romantic. Semantics. Seaman, Roman, row your boat, right? They had boats. They were an empire. Not only did they have lots of boats, a massive navy, but in the Colosseum, at one point at least, they filled it up with water. Okay, I believe it was the Colosseum. And they reenacted sea battles. That's how much they had maritime, right? Marriage, right? Maritime aspirations. Okay. And even the word aspire, right? Alpha, spar, alpha, right? Inspire, alpha. But if you don't understand the wordplay, don't worry about that. Just skip over that. Focus on the core message of this video, which is the semantics in Proverbs 24:5, New Revised Standard Version. So it says, wise warriors are mightier than strong ones, and those who have knowledge than those who have strength. Now, I don't want to sound like some kind of corny teacher. They do that. They change my voice more than you think, in more ways than you can think. They change my speech patterns. But I know that when I explain it this way that you understand. So I tend to swallow my pride and make a video anyway, even though I know I'm going to sound like a weirdo, like a corny white guy, or like a racist racist white guy, or like a token minority. So bear with me. So what is a wise warrior? Okay, there's a reason why, I'm not trying to bash the military every video, believe it or not, but there's a reason why I bring up the military all the time, because they're not the wise warrior. Conan the Barbarian isn't. The Roman army wasn't. Okay, Caesar wasn't. Okay, Attila the Hun, the Vikings, you name it. The American martial artists, Asian martial artists, hell, capoeiras aren't, other African. They're not what they're talking about. A wise warrior is someone who we see in Proverbs 8 and Proverbs 9. Okay, someone who serves God, who is righteous, not just somebody, playing the game. That's not wise. Not somebody who conforms to the psychology of the state and the propaganda of the state. That's foolishness. Not a social norm fanatic saying who does that in a way that's unreasonable. That's foolishness. That's the quote-unquote wisdom of the world, which is not wisdom to God. It's not somebody who dresses up like a fairy and tries to mimic the depictions of angels in the churches. That's called being insane. That's, a fanatic homosexual serial killer or something. That's not the same thing. A wise warrior would never cheat me out of my right to lead. So it says wise warriors are mightier than strong ones. Okay? So again, they're agreeing with my martial art philosophy if you take it, if you interpret it the right way. So you have to translate it in a way that makes sense. And if you don't, if you can interpret it right, then that's okay. The interpretation is really what matters, right? Truth is truth. The way to interpret it is within the boundaries of what's true. So is a wise warrior mightier than a big brute? Say a guy can headbutt a tree and not feel a thing. He can bench press 600 pounds, right? But I'd outmaneuver him and I stab him 8 times in the neck before he can react, and he's done. Because my martial and focused and wise might is greater than his flesh-based strength. And the Bible goes on and on about people who rely on mere flesh and not on the Spirit of God and false idols and on and on and on and on. Okay. So wise warriors are mightier than strong ones, right? They won't prevail. The more mighty prevails in truth, in a fair contest, in a fair combat, and so on and so forth. So wise warriors are mightier than strong ones, and those who have knowledge than those who have strength. Now, is a scribe who, is just some worldly profane guy, he puts on the boxing gloves and he believes that that's true. He believes he could take on Tyson. No, it's not going to work. Because it's not talking about just knowing details. How many of you, for example, would spend the rest of your life memorizing the dictionary so you could brag that you know the dictionary? Words can be important, right? Help you explain, help you articulate. How many of you would take that route instead of mastering your mind, body, and soul and spirit, serving God, making sure you can make love, to the optimum degree, things like this, things that are really, really exciting, really worthwhile, really important, really divine. And so it is with the tree of, knowledge, just learning things. You have a PhD, so what? Right? You say, I know what it's like to be in combat and shoot at people and da-da-da. So what? That's just mere knowledge. What is really life has to do with divine life, right? The way, the truth, and the life. The way to heaven, that which is divine. Who goes up to heaven and comes back down, right? The solar boat, the Spirit of Christ, right? One with Christ while Christ is one with God. Therefore, it's referring to one with me, the Christos, the anointed one, as I'm one with God. Now, why aren't those betas in your churches explaining it to you this way? Because they're not going the right way, they're not telling the truth, and they're not pointing to life. They are the bookworm serpent, right? The serpent, the bookworm, the worm is the archaic word for snake, the bookworm serpent on the tree of knowledge. Now, as I've been pursuing God's work and romance and moral, mental, spiritual, romantic, imperative, I've picked up on a great many things as I've outmaneuvered all the scholars on the planet at the same time. I said, either you sit down and shut the fuck up because you're too scared to step in the ring with the smartest person on the planet, or you disagree with me, or you agree with me and obey God through me. Okay? Anyone who disagree with me got smacked. They got a falcon smack the fuck down. Just done. Humiliated. Quiet. Tail tucked, running away. Oh, no. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Because I have overcome. They have not. Thank you.